Hi. So I'm in the room, it's obvious, but I was reading comments and finally got some time to get back to myself and my world and do what I want to do. Anyway, that being aside, I was reading comments and one person was asking, like, how do you know an Archon when you see one? So the thing with Archons is kind of difficult because they can shapeshift. And they can look like anything. They can look like humans, they can take the shape of a squirrel, a reptilian, an entity, like any kind of thing. So how do you know when you see one? Because they can be right in front of you, and how do you know it's an Archon? So for me, it's pretty simple, and there are quite a few things that I do sometimes. So usually when I'm in the multiverse, I have basically a rule. Like there is this energy shield around me, and I'm the one creating it. It's like creating a bubble shield around yourself, and you can expand it as much as you want. It can be just around your body, or you can go for miles and miles and miles as much as you want because you can create anything that you want. So keeping that in mind, when you create the shield around yourself and you just imagine how vast it's gonna be, you put a rule on who can enter your space. So for me, the rule is like whenever I go out, only beings that have best intentions towards me, that have the healing, loving energy, that will help me, that blah blah blah, and I just name things that I want specifically to happen. So that being the command, like the rule that only specific beings can enter, when I'm in the multiverse and I want to do it, I create this shield with a specific command of who can enter and be close to me. And only beings with the right qualifications can enter and be close to me, and like we can pass each other and they're like, hi, like we can interact with each other. I can also create the other rule. Beings who have the negative energy, who have negative intentions towards me, who are like qualified as archons or like these like grays, reptilians, or you name it. You create the rule of who can be in your space, and when you do that, you put the command, and your shield is basically like, okay, it's like enhancement or like a spell or something, and your shield will have this like qualification. So any entity or being that qualifies to enter can come in, and any being that like basically, oh, I'm a reptilian, I cannot get close, and they're still trying, they basically get bounced back. Like they get close, boom, and they cannot enter. So they get pissed off and stuff. But basically, you can create a shield around yourself. And I think the same thing also works in this life. When you're in your room or when you're outside, wherever you are, you can create this sort of shield around yourself. At least, like doesn't have to be all over your house and stuff. Of course, you can do that too. But you can use your body as well. And just that alone, create a bubble shield, and you basically create a rule. Anyone with these specific qualities can be close, and anyone who doesn't qualify cannot get close to you. And you be specific with what you want. Loving, healing energies, people who are friendly towards you, but friendliness, reptilians and other beings that don't have good intentions can also be friendly. So be specific, friendly, but have like no negative intentions, and just be specific with what you want. You have to create the rules. So like some people like, oh God, please give me money. And how much money? You found a penny on the street. Is that enough? You got what you asked. That's money, all right? But so you have to be specific of what you want, how much you want, and like all it specifies, like the whole list of this, like chanting you're gonna do or a spell or whatever. So you create this shield, and specific beings that qualifies can enter, others cannot. And so you go through everyday's life, you're walking in the street, and you create this sort of energy around yourself, and you know that it's going to be protecting you, that no one can enter that has negative intentions towards you. And as you go through the day, there might be negative people around you, but they cannot get close, or they cannot penetrate the shield, and they cannot get to you. So all the negative stuff that they have, like negative intentions towards you, or they might say mean things, it will not affect you that much. Of course, like that's one thing, like you creating a shield, but for some people it doesn't work. Like they might not necessarily like, okay, yeah, there's a shield, yeah, I might, yeah, okay, and they just create it sort of, but it's not really working. They don't really believe in it, and all of a sudden, like yeah, I had a conversation with a person and it hurt, and the shield is not working, and they get like pissed off or like stop believing that that shield, the energy shield, will actually help them. So there's another thing, like one is believing in it because your beliefs, and the more intense it is, it's gonna give power to it. Same with the crystals and other things you might have. Some people have the cross, some people like have like some amulets, whatever. They think that it's gonna bring them luck. They think that it's like like right here, I have this like little band my mom gave me, and like I had a red one like too, and we have a belief like in Lithuania, like okay, this is like this saying something, or like it had the chanting that it's gonna suck up all the negative energy, and basically no one can get to you, and like all this stuff. So like people tie it up and have like a chanting that's gonna put the really good intentions, like you're gonna have love, you're gonna be so like safe, all kinds of that, and if the little thing breaks, then it means that it sucked up like enough bad energy, and it's not gonna affect you. And I believe that, like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm not necessarily like trusting everything, but like, okay, yeah, it's gonna keep me safe. And with that, I basically get away from my fears, because bad stuff might happen. People might die, I might get in a car accident, something might happen. But just because I believe in this, like, okay, it's gonna keep me safe, I create a reality where I am safe, where nothing can affect me, where anything that can happen won't happen to me. Because, like, okay, yeah, this is a little thing. I am the one putting the intention that, like, this is gonna protect me, this is gonna keep me safe. And same thing with if you're into religions, if you're into something, and you like have a belief that your crystal will suck up all negative energy, or it's gonna give you more energy, or like it's gonna keep you things, like if it's gonna keep things away from you, you put the intention and you create the rule that is basically gonna affect your life in a big way. Same as like some people like, hey, go get rings and stuff. So the more we believe in it, the more we trust and give power to it, the more it's gonna happen. Same thing goes to your energy shield. If you think that, okay, I'm gonna create an energy shield, and you put the intention, you put a belief, when I go out in the street, it might be like, okay, 2 a.m., I'm just gonna like escort my friend, like, she came over to visit me, we spent some time, and now she needs to go home, and I'm gonna walk her to her home because I want to be sure that she's safe and stuff. So when I walk out and I escort her and it's on my way back, there might be like a group of 7 guys, and I'm like, oh damn, I had a negative experience with guys in the past. I'm kind of afraid. So instead of that, I create a reality where there's a shield around me, no one can get through, and I'm walking as if no one can penetrate me, no one can harm me, no one can damage me at all. And I'm walking like, like proudly, or like, like in a way that no one can harm me. No one can harm me. And I'm walking and I'm feeling safe. Which is why, like, I live life, like some people have this worry, like, if I say too much information, if I share this, I'll be attacked and stuff. I let go of that. Like, no, I don't even think about it. I think about how good I'm gonna feel and all the like help I'm gonna get from the multiverse and like the source and like all of these things. I just think about all the good stuff, but they put the rule, and I believe in the way that no one can affect me in a negative way. And that's good, and that's working. And sometimes when I let my guard off and like let life affect me, and I get into my case, like, oh, it triggered me, and I start reacting, that's when things get through, because I stop thinking about the shield, and you don't necessarily have to think about it, but you let it down, and that's when people and other beings can come and attack you and stuff. So that's one of the possibilities. Another thing is when you're in the like out of body experience, when you're in astral planes, when you're lucid dreaming or something, and you might think that there's an Archon, you can use Galactic Vacuum. If you know about Cameron's days, like Soul Contract Revocation, or you've used Rich 2150X for that, or if you just know about the method, on the command 3 or step 3, I think we have this like ask for the galactic vacuum to like be ready to suck up anything that's like needed and stuff like that. So galactic vacuum is like a funnel cloud. It's a vortex, and it's gonna suck up anything that you don't need in your life, anything that has negative effects, anything like limiting, all kinds of entities and soul contracts and agreements, anything you want. So you can use galactic vacuum in tons of ways, and this could be a separate video, but what the hell? I don't know, maybe I should stop it, like whatever. Yeah, so when you are in the multiverse, when you're exploring, or you're anywhere really, you can ask for the galactic vacuum to keep you safe and to target any negative entities or any archons. And basically you put the command of like say with the shield, you put the intentions of what you want to happen. You have a specific qualification list of like who can get close to you and who cannot. And if you think like of any entities, of any negativities, if you have like, okay, I don't want this and this and this, then you basically, okay, galactic vacuum, if you sense anything around me that has this, and you just name it, you name what you want, the galactic vacuum will basically suck it up. Because it's working for you, and it's working for anyone who's sovereign and wants to get better. So you can ask for the galactic vacuum to notice and scan for any archons, for any reptilians, for any negative entities. And you can do that like here. Like, you don't have to get out of body to do that. This is why like the soul contract method is pretty like it has pretty good effect. Because when you're revoking the agreements, you trust it that is gonna come over and be close to you and suck up anything that you don't need from your space. So that doesn't necessarily have to be the whole multiverse. It can be your house, your body, your mind, anything. And some beings, like, not some, but most of us, this camera has automatic light adjustments, but anyway, we might have entities inside our body, inside our head, or like, anywhere really. So they can be close to us and they can affect our thoughts, our feeling states. They can affect like how we live our lives. They can pretty much try to bait us in various ways. There can be entities around us that will whisper certain things and like try to talk to us and stuff. So when that comes over, when you feel like there might be an artificial force affecting how you live your life, you can literally ask for the galactic vacuum to remove them from your space. And that works. If you find any agreements in your life, or limiting beliefs, you're going through the day and you're going like, man, I'm always unsuccessful. Like, I'm always failing. There's always something bad happening. These are your beliefs and these are your agreements to reality because you've seen it happen before. You agree that it's still happening and you believe it strongly. Like, I am super unsuccessful. I'm never getting rich. People don't like me. So your beliefs about how you live your life, your beliefs about today, your present moment, these are the agreements that you have. So once you are able to notice it, you can ask for the galactic vacuum to remove it. And if you're using galactic vacuum for the removal, you can also like try to remove any reinstatement clauses or counterparty duplicates. Reinstatement clauses are basically agreements that come back after revocation. So if you have any negative beliefs or agreements or entities or other beings, and you remove them, at some point they can come back because the door is still open. Even if you remove them like, oh, get out of my space, and you like push them back. But the door is still open. So what you do is you remove any reinstatement clauses, and it basically keeps them from coming back because you remove anything that can return after you revoke it, after you remove it. And once you're done with that step, the door is closed and only what you invite and what you want will come to your life. So if you're like removing any negative beliefs and negative entities, you can also focus on what you want. And these are like getting your missing soul aspects back. If you want to, you can like, okay, I used to be super successful as a kid. I used to be super creative. I was very confident. And you just think of parts that you've had in your past, and you basically imagine them coming back. Just like just imagine like a little tunnel, and they will come back to you throughout your like your head, your chakras and stuff like that, and just fill you up. And give it some time. Don't really. I mean, it might show up like right away, right this second. It might show up after a minute, after an hour, after a week, after a month. But believe that it's there, is going to be there to serve you because they might not necessarily show up right away. But once you get into a certain activity that triggers that part of yourself, the personality that you just got back, it's going to be there for you and it's going to help. So that's another way. Like we have the energy shields. We also have the galactic vacuum to be read, like to remove anything we don't want. There's also like you as a powerful being. You have all kinds of abilities when you go out of body, when you're in astral planes, when you're having lucid dreams, for example. So if you know your abilities and okay, I can teleport, I can fly, I can do this, and you just think of all the possibilities of things that you can do, you can also like, okay, I'm gonna enhance my abilities even more, and you just imagine yourself being the strongest being in the multiverse. You are like, godlike. You are the creator. You can manifest anything you want. If you can create the galaxy or the multiverse, you can also create yourself. And like, okay, I imagine having this ability, or like, to like sense any archons or sense any entities, and you just basically like in a video game, you can customize your character, or you're writing your book and you want your character to be like specific. So you write down like all of the personality types, all of the characteristics of or what it's like. So just like you create your character, you can create yourself in the same way. And when you do that, you're in the multiverse, you're out of body, you're in the astral plane, and you just imagine yourself being the strongest being. You imagine yourself necessarily imagine, but you create yourself as you have the ability to sense any archons, to sense any entities, to sense any beings that have negative effects towards you. So you can use that as in like enhancing your ability. And for that, I can use one of my examples. In one of my out of body experiences, I was with a team and we were like exploring the planets and their realms, and we had like these gadgets on our arms, like it's like a little computer screen, and we would travel and go from one realm to another realm. And what we did, we were scanning them, and this is like quite often an experience for me. Like I go into scanning and exploring and like checking all the details. So what happened is when I was doing that, we scan and see how the population is doing, the nature, animals, all that. But at the same time, we're also scanning for what kind of vibration the realm has. the vibration level, the frequency, the energy. We see how many people or beings out there are doing good, how many people or beings are not doing so good, their vibration level, and we're scanning, and Earth was pretty damn low. We were on Earth as well, and we're seeing the vibe is like super low. And I'm like, okay, and as we're scanning like lots of realms, I was in this like, okay, nice realm, but it's like moving from one to another, and there was like this devastated planet. Like this is just like been attacked by reptilians, like a lot of beings killed off. It's just like occupied, all the resources wasted, and it's gone. And now it's just like a gas ball or something like that. So what I did is like, okay, this is like super like low vibration and stuff. What I'm gonna do is focus on myself. And just like in myself, I'm imagining this like loving, healing energy, and I'm just filling myself with this like good vibration, good energy. I'm feeling it inside, and I start spreading it out. And I imagine that everything around me is going to be affected, and I'm just spreading my love, my my energy, my vibration, everything out. And what happens? I open my eyes, and as I'm imagining that the Earth, like this planet, is gonna get better, and I just keep like it's like radio, like you're tuning into the channel. So I like the realm I was in. It's on a tune. It's one like I don't know, lifetime, or like just like timeline and stuff like that. And so the planet over there has a specific negative energy, and as I'm tuning the channel and changing the vibration, the planet is changing as well, and I'm choosing the different like timeline into the where the planet was doing good. So with that, you change your vibration, and the planet becomes super like flourishing. It has nature, it has the beings, everything like starts like growing, then grass, and like everything just gets pretty and pretty, and like that was the most amazing planet I've been to. Like I'm just creating that planet myself by changing my vibration, my energy, and it changes itself. And like I'm looking at the meter I have, or like the device, and the stats are going up really high. So you can do that the same thing. You can do it right here on Earth while you're like inside like in your body, and you can just like I mean like that Ubi was pretty much like, okay, we really affect a lot, like not just ourselves but our surroundings as well. So if we're able to change ourselves, we can change our surroundings in the big time. And it's not just you that you can change. You can change your surroundings. This planet, like we're trying to wake up. We're trying to get better. We're trying to like do better, and that way we change the vibration of this planet, and things get better. So same in the our realms as well. And with all your abilities out there, you can basically make your vibration so high that any entity, any Archon, or any being that has negative intentions towards you cannot get close. Because your vibration is so high that it just bounces them back and they cannot get close. So that's another way you can like sort of scan and like just you have tons of abilities. And some people like disagree with me, but like everyone have different beliefs, and I'm okay with that. So try it out. Try it out like here while you're like awake. You just try playing with your energy and see if you can hype yourself up. Because like there's Tony Robbins and like his teachings, and one of the things like people who are sad and depressed, they're gonna be like like the head is down, the breathing is shallow, like all of these different things. But you can also like prime yourself, and you can stand up and be like heroic and have your pose and deep like breathe deeper and stuff like that. It's gonna keep changing, but you will prime yourself up to a point where you're feeling good. You were depressed a few minutes ago, but you've actually changed yourself, the way you think, the way you feel yourself. You don't need any outside elements. You don't need anything else. You need anything special. You can do it yourself. So if you can affect your body while you're here in that simple step, like by breathing, by changing your stance, by changing your beliefs, all of a sudden you're putting yourself like I'm a hero, I'm this, and you're changing your feeling state. You can do the same thing when you're out of body. And it's pretty much easy. So it's easy for me to say, but try it out. Try if it's gonna work for you. And like these are just a few ways to notice if there are any archons and stuff. But I'm interested, like for those who get out of body, who've been in astral planes. I want to know like how do you detect archons? How do you see the archons? How do you know it's them? And like how do you deal with them? Like how do you protect yourself from them? So this is just like a short video, 20 minutes long. Yeah, sure. But I hope it was valuable, and I will see you next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.